Zindabad.
Zindabad. Long live Shivambu. Long live Vijay and Indira.
Woo! You too.
You too.
Everybody. The Shivambu family all over the world.
Yep.
Zindabad.
Zindabad.
The whole Shivambu family. Zindabad.
Yes. And we're leaving the door open for all the new brothers and sisters to join the family who just now are hearing about the water, just now answering the call, and not even questioning. More and more people are saying, it wasn't even a second thought. I drank it. I'm ready.
Okay. Wow. And last night, because I asked you, where is the Shivambu Zindabad? So I got your book. I read, and so many places you have quoted Vijay and me, and all the references, or the back of it, testimonies, and I kept the book on my chest.
Oh, very nice.
Blessing, Shivambu Zindabad, Shivambu Zindabad. This is amazing. I'm if somebody sees me from outside, they'll say I'm crazy, Yes, and it says people think that we are crazy,
Yeah.
But I think that this is the gift coming from the biggest God of the world is Shiva. That name was given. And I'm telling you, you're saying Shivambu. I even corrected. It is not Shivambu. It is Shivambu. BHU.
Yes, that's how it's written in the book.
Yes.
And because of you, I've been correcting people and getting the spelling according to tradition.
That's right. And then I went and I did my 14 point, and I went to sleep. I had a very good sleep. Vijay is doing very well. And I talked to the nurse and I talked to him last night. He called me.
He called you.
He called me. Because I tried to call a few times and, the nurse was away or, he was sleeping, this, that. So I said, be in the zone. If it happens, it happens. So it rang and I picked up. And it was Vijay. Can you imagine? No intermediary. And I told him, everything is okay, this, that, and how are you doing? And, so anyway, please tell whoever and tell Mike Dot.
Yes.
Doc Mike. Doc Mike, please report to him all those 45,000 people thinking about all of us.
Yes.
To do that. You please connect with him because I don't have that kind of time right now.
Yeah. Well, what you need is a phone. That's all it takes.
Yeah, but you please call them because I want to be involved as a family.
Okay.
And you have time. It is only 10:25.
All right. Any particular message?
No, you just tell to continue, and Vijay is doing better than 2 days ago.
All right. Let's see if we can get him on the line, and we'll bring him into the call.
Yeah.
Let's do things in real time.
Yes. and you are so I'm totally kind of being in the zone to use my mind rather than the technology.
Well, that works really well. More and more people line.
Mind mail. We can say mind mail Zindabad.
Mind mail Zindabad.
Mind mail Zindabad.
Daniel Robbins Zindabad. He's sleeping in today.
Who?
Daniel.
Who? Daniel. Oh, Daniel, how are you?
Doc Mike.
Good. Very good.
All right, Doc Mike, I'm bringing you into the World Urine Therapy Conference call by audio.
Wonderful.
Yeah, here's Indira. She's going to say hi.
Doc Mike, Vijay is doing well. Tell your congregation to bless him and bless the whole Shivambu family all over the world. 30 million plus people.
I know. That's wonderful.
And your timely call, keeping his legs up, helped for next 2 days. And then, we had to take an executive decision to reduce the swelling and other things. So everything is working. And I'm ready to really invoke the Brahman and see what is stored for all of us. You see, and take it as it comes. And I know Daniel is a born again. The kingdom of, what were you saying? The kingdom is within you.
Oh, the kingdom of God is within you. So you're saying your husband is not feeling well?
Well, he had some swelling, and I called my MD consultant. He spent 4 hours here, and he said, I think not constipation, the obstructions and peeing and everything needs to be released. So I said, let's go. And
Okay.
So he's doing well, and they are putting whatever is needed, because he's in their hands now.
Indira, tell Doc Mike what surprise you got from the hospital recently.
Vijay called me. He's getting the best service. We have a Medicare catastrophe. You cannot get better than that, as far as insurance is concerned.
Indira, did you also? I think I'm sure I mentioned to pick up on his garlic and onions.
I gave him 2 or 3 dosages of that. I made the soups 2 times, but right now I cannot do anything.
Yeah, he's doing much better.
Yes, very much.
Inflammation has gone down.
Yes. What is gone down?
Inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation. Yes.
The arteries and veins that are not working right, and the muscles in the legs to move the lymphatic fluid.
Yes.
To the
they are doing
kidneys and the heart. So
they are doing everything that is needed.
Great. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sage, is there something I can add to your conference here?
Well, people are coming on board minute by minute. I don't know when they're all going to be here, but just the fact that you got to connect with Indira and Daniel and Darlene, myself and Sydney. Darlene, say hi to Dr. Mike Witort.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, Darlene. Where are you located?
I'm in the east coast of Canada.
East Coast of Canada, wonderful. I've got a leukemia patient over there that we're having tremendous success with out on the east coast of Canada. So welcome to Shivambu Hut.
Well, thank you. I've been coming for a bit.
Okay, very good. And do we want to
Vad sa du?
end our discussion on...
Ja, jag sa att den här...
Well, we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about the movement and what's happening across the world. Like Harry, who can't make it, but he's been putting together a meetup group in UK.
Wonderful.
And our I have to add one thing. Our mantra should be Shivambu Zindabad.
Zindabad.
Means long live Shivambu.
Right. I agree.
Doc Mike, I really appreciate, and we love you very much.
We just, Christopher just joined the call.
Hello, Chris. This is Doc Mike in Chicago. Well, I'm sitting here just north of Dallas right now, and probably be here for another couple of months.
Wow, you're in Dallas.
Yeah. The family got real tired of the governor in California, and have rented out their home there and bought a house in a little town just north of Dallas. So that's where I'm sitting right now. It's a sunny day here, 60-some degrees, beautiful.
Send some sun this way.
Well, I'll be glad to. I'm probably going golfing this afternoon. Yeah,
how nice.
Thanks a lot. McLean, say hi to Doc Mike. He's on the phone.
Hello?
McLean just joined us.
McLean?
McLean out of California.
Does you know McLean? Do you know Doc Mike?
McLean, say something.
You're muted.
Now she's unmuted.
Oh, no wonder.
Is he on board there?
Is that Nina?
McLean?
Well, that's McLean Jenner. She's helping Christopher with our newsletter and all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff.
Oh, there's McLean.
Hey, she's waving her hand, Doc Mike.
She's going for the wave.
Yeah. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you a question, Mike. So you did a post in Shivambu Hut, and you said that Well, what you've been saying for years is that you've got this 13-year-old aged urine, but you wouldn't drink it, right? Because the pH is so high. And then you did a post recently in Shivambu Hut, and you said that because you in a sense drink in the aged urine through your skin, you can see that drinking it wouldn't be that different. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I have put some drops under my tongue because I just as a researcher, I'm probably one of the few people. Though one of my patients back in Chicago told me that when he started, I got him doing urine therapy, and he did some more research, a deep dive on it, and found that in Asia, they had urine over there that was 20 and 30 years old.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have some this next month. It'll be 12 years old, not 13. So thank you very much. But this stuff is on a litmus paper. It's the deepest purple you'll ever see, and the litmus at about 10 years, a couple years ago, was very deep green. In the last couple of years, it went to, like I'm saying, it's probably at the top of the scale at 14. Used it for moles. I'm actually using it on my left cheek for what would probably be diagnosed as a melanoma from the golfing, a lot of sunlight that I've had, and not being aware of too much sun. A lot of times staying out in the sun all day, and it's going away. I just removed a mole the other day from one of the children here in Texas, the family I'm staying with. And I also had a real good success in Phoenix with moles, putting a drop of urine on the moles. So this stuff, I would suggest that, this might be just a new thing. You're kind of, aged urine is probably hundreds of years old, but one of my patients in Wisconsin that I helped with her dog, she started putting her urine in the dog's water, and this dog that had a lot of dandruff and everything, and my girlfriend's dogs too, all their coats are beautiful now. They reflect light as human urine is used in their drinking water.
And this is fresh urine. Fresh urine.
Pardon?
Mike, is that fresh or aged urine you're talking about?
Well, the direction I was going with this in Wisconsin that had the dogs, she came up with aging of 1 week was very powerful. And I had already had urine that was probably 5 or 6 years old at that point in time. And I was just letting it sit and age and, not knowing what I was going to do with it. And I had a whole quart of it. I had 32 ounces sealed very tightly. And it just kept aging and aging and aging. I've used it on ulcers. We had tremendous success with ulcers, weeping ulcers. Also, another poultice of cod liver oil, castor oil, and olive oil was very helpful for these ulcers. But I know I had a patient that was diabetic, had diabetic ulcers all over his feet, about the same size of quarters. Probably had 15 or 20 on each ankle, and crawling up his calf toward his calves. He soaked his feet in in fresh urine every day for about 2 weeks, and every one of the ulcers disappeared. His feet were like they were when he was a teenager.
Awesome.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you one more question. This 20, 30-year-old aged urine in Asia, is that just used topically, or is that used internally also?
He asked you about the 20-year-old aged urine in Indonesia.
I didn't do that research, but I'm sure that they were probably more advanced than we are, and they were doing it for everything, internally, externally. um, along with fecal matter, the yellow soup. These babies, when they were nursing, have this sort of mustard bowel movement. And I think what they would do is they would take some of that, put it in some hot water with a spoon, and serve it up at restaurants. This is the microbiome that Pfizer is spending millions and millions of dollars on developing fecal matter transplants. So, you know, the body is a pharmacy. Your earwax, your the pus in your pimples, your saliva, your urine, your bowel, it's all a pharmacy that keeps us very, very healthy. I know Chris is very healthy. Sage is very healthy. I'm very healthy. This is the result of our pharmacy that is working with us. And for Indira's husband, I'm sure he's going to have a complete recovery from whatever this is. It might be phlebitis, or there's another term for the swelling that happened on his feet.
Edema?
It's just yeah, for the edema, that's the condition. But what caused it? What caused the inflammation can be the arteries or the veins. Possibly, you know, not being active, too much active anymore. Walking would probably be helpful to him also, and of course the elevation of his feet, so we could drain off all that water, that edema. So anybody else got any questions? I'm on fire, Sage, thanks to you, about this aged urine. You know, you started the boiling water on this. Now we're into a conflagration.
Well, yesterday I had a lovely talk with Indira to get caught up on the news about VJ, and she heard me coughing, and she was concerned I might have gotten COVID from somebody, or blah, 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 blah. So I immediately went into aged urine overdrive. I pounded down 6 ounces. I snorted. I've got my 3-year-old bottle right here. I had to rub it in every orifice you can imagine, and now I'm up and running really well right now. So if you guys are getting to a tight situation, you just slam down fresh, aged, whatever you got, and start saturating like there's no tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, I do have one question. So what are you ingesting aged urine regularly now?
Yes, I'm using it for mole correction on this little girl. She's 17 years old. She's got a mole on her forehead. And in one application with just with, you know, I wet my finger and put it on the mole. The next day, the mole color, you know, was kind of dark. It's been there for years. And it lightened up the color. And I asked her father, he was standing right there. I said, what do you think from yesterday to today? What does this mole look? He says, it's lighter. And I made an application last night. I'm doing it every 24 hours before she goes to bed. And we're looking at this thing possibly even disappearing. I've had some great success in Phoenix with it. And their little child, you're probably familiar with these little red dots that appear sometimes on your stomach or someplace on the body.
Yep.
They call it like a cherry tumor or something like that. We removed one on the little 6-year-old that had one under her eye, and the 17-year-old has one under her eye too, because they were into sugars for a while as they were growing up. And last year I took them off of all refined sugar, and their complexions are beautiful. All 4 children. And if they get a pimple, we just put a little drop of 12-year-old on it. And then the next day or so, my girlfriend too,
Dr. Mike.
a couple of years. Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got Darlene on standby. She wants to share something with you in the group. So go ahead, Darlene.
Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Mike. In my research, I did a study. I was using 2-week-old urine, injecting it rectally. And one of my participants, he was in his early 70s and he had quite a few moles on his chest. And after 6 weeks of doing it rectally, he found some of those moles had fallen off.
I'm not surprised. There were some others before I got to using my really aged urine, like in the, you know, well, now I don't have much left. I've been doling it out at 2-ounce bottles as gifts to my patients. And I probably in Chicago. I brought 2 ounces with me, and I actually had 4 ounces with me. I gave 2 ounces to my patient in Phoenix, and I still have 2 ounces here in Texas. But before I started using that, I used to use a concoction of baking soda. Like you take maybe a half a teaspoon of baking soda, put just a few drops of water in it till it makes like a paste, and put that on moles. And I've also used black salve for moles, but this urine is new to me. And it's really working well. So God bless you. At 2 weeks. Now you say you were injecting it with a needle. Is that it?
Not directly, but I have tried that just recently on my own. I had a mole on my side and I put some in a needled syringe and I injected it right into the mole to see if that would do anything to it. Nothing has happened with that one yet. I might have to do it a few more times. But this was injecting rectally aged urine, 2-week aged, for 6 weeks. So I'm doing a study right now for my thesis, in natural medicine. I'm doing it on urine therapy, and a lot of people are noticing different reactions when they do it. And that this one individual, since we're talking about moles, his moles did fall off. So I was really happy with those findings.
Yeah. Well, you know, the dynamics of that is these moles have a root in them. It's very similar to a wart. Okay. And when you alkalize that root, it just drops off. I've seen very large moles drop off with the baking soda. And as you know, bicarbonate of soda is one of the most alkaline besides cesium chloride that you can use for alkalizing the body. And I had, I was a human garbage can for 53 years. French fries, cheeseburgers, beer, reserve whiskey, cookies, chocolate milk, blah, blah, blah. I was killing myself. I was into nutritional suicide. And then I flipped when I was 53 years old. That was, 24 years ago. I started hitting north instead of south with my nutrition. And one of the things that I had was a lot of age spots, and I know they were liver spots because of my sugar addiction, were on my arms. I had hundreds of these spots. They are almost 100% of them are gone. I've got like 99.9 gone. They just disappeared as I alkalized my body.
Doc Mike,
from Otto Warburg's work about alkalizing that you can't get cancer, you can't get COVID, you can't get nothing.
Doc Mike, we've got McLean on standby if she's ready to talk. McLean, unmute yourself.
Hi. Okay, this is a wealth of information. I have some questions that are a little, I mean, they have to do with age. And I guess I'll put out, I think I have 3 questions, and then maybe you can say what you have to say about it. Well, one is just saying that you're like year old or whatever when you age urine, it's from different mixes, from different catches. It's a combination. That's one thing. The other thing is color. You know, if I drink a lot of water.
Let's address them individually, okay? When you say different catches, that makes no difference. Your environment is, you know, if you get more catches, you get more environment. We're talking about chemtrails. We're talking about chemicals that are in the foods, and your body metabolizing. So the more catches you get, I think, are the better. And let's address these individually, because I'm not writing down your questions.
Okay.
And so if you have a question, maybe myself or a sage or one of the other guests can address it, okay?
Okay, that's great. This might be the same sort of answer, which is color. You know, if I drink a lot of water and it comes out so light, in that light, is that have the same power, the same strength as like something that's a little darker? Yes,
your color of the urine can be affected very, very rapidly with asparagus and its smell and taste. The different foods, different detoxing that you're doing, you could get exposed to, say, some exhaust from a bus or from you get near an airport, and your body, your immune system. I'm an immunologist. Okay, I know more about the immune system than most doctors and pharmaceutical reps and pharmaceutical companies. They don't want anybody knowing about the immune system. It is so intricate and so infinite in your body that when something gets on board, your immune system's going after it if it doesn't like it. If it likes it, it goes into your marrow and becomes new cellular material for your brains, for your eyes, for your heart, for your toenails. So the catches and the color, I have no problem with that. In fact, that first quart that I saved for over almost 12 years now, next month, was probably 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 days that I've collected and then sealed that bottle. Go ahead.
Okay. So another thing is, so I've been collecting in a copper pot, and it's blue. I mean, the urine is blue. I was thinking of dyeing clothes with it. I don't know. I'm not drawn to drinking that. I didn't know if I should keep it and soak in it or what. I mean, it's blue. It's electric blue.
Wow.
What about topical use, Mike?
What's that?
What about McLean using that lovely kaleidoscope color for either topical use?
I'll tell you what, you want to send me some of that, McLean, I'll be drinking it. That sounds great. I don't know anybody that, maybe in Asia they save them in copper pots, or maybe pewter. I don't know what they had hundreds of years ago. Maybe
they had brass.
Some type of it probably wasn't glass.
They had brass.
Well, some of the write-ins will say, all the things you can keep it in, and it'll say copper's the best. So I had something, I did it, and I was like, I don't know about this.
And so, the copper is one of the most important metals that we can have. And hold on 1 second, the guys here, it's asking me something. Yeah.
Megan, you want to pose your question to the group while Mike's on the other call? Let's see if we can address it. Doc Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear from Megan. She just.
Oh, hey everyone.
Hey Megan.
Hey, I don't. My mother has had 3 things in her body now, and every time she's had them put in, she has gotten shingles, and we've been treating it with my 5 to 6 month old age urine because that's what we have, and it's the only thing that will take the pain away. If she uses something else, the pain will go away for maybe 2 hours, but if we use the 5 to 6 month old aged urine, the pain will go away for 4 to 8 hours, and it's visibly healing the shingles at the same time. And very few of the shingles have gotten to a blistered state. Only 1 or 2 out of maybe 8 or 9 will blister. The rest will just get smaller and go away. But the dermatome, like the spread through her dermatome, it's crossing the body axis in both directions, so that they're everywhere. It's not following a normal pattern. Do you have any insight on why the
shingles is probably one of the biggest medical scams on the planet, besides arthritis, hypertension, cancer, diabetes, cholesterol. Okay, shingles is directly related to stress. You've got to get her into some type of meditation, some warm water baths with urine in them,
massage,
and just calm her down. This is all shingles is. Okay, and they put these names on them so that insurance can cover them. It's all oxidative stress, and your urine generates ozone and additional oxygen every time you take a sip of it, an injection of it, snort it, whatever you do. It's generating new ozone and new oxygen in the body, and those shingles. You don't have shingles. I don't have shingles. Billions of people around the world don't have shingles. Okay, why? It's their stress levels that are acidifying the body and then shooting it into some area of the skin as nerve inflammation. That's all it is. It's a big scam.
Well, and that also tells us that a good remedy for shingles is to get rid of your television.
I haven't had a television for close to 30 years. I don't know what ever said. Did you see this program the other day? This and that. I said, what? You know?
Yeah, well,
No.
just the name tells you that it's programming us. It's called a program for a reason.
Oh, it's totally. There's subliminal, from what I understand, on there too. You know, little blinking things behind that. Oh, you know, there's television is when we were. I just turned 77 years old. I'm a Vietnam vet. I remember when we were children. They were black and white, Mickey Mouse and stuff. It was a babysitter for our parents. Okay, they just, you know, you sit all the kids in front of Mickey Mouse with Annette Funicello and whoever else those kind of goofballs were.
Yes, and then what they did, Mike, is in order to make sure that Mom sedated us really well and she could go do her other things, they invented TV dinners. They invented convenient food. They invented all this crap so Mom had an easier time in the kitchen.
Right. And what did that do? Look at the sodium content on TV dinners. It's like 1,200 milligrams per serving. I mean, you drive you crazy. And then you had the sugars and the trans fats. This is nutritional suicide. I'm lucky I'm still alive. Really, and God bless you for this opportunity that I have. You know, it was probably bound to happen, and I think our how did our communication start, Sage? Do you remember?
Good question. Did you find me before Christopher and I put together the Shivamba organization? You and I were communicating.
Was it from that kid in Chicago that had
Yes,
contacted?
yes. And then he ends up being one of your clients?
He's probably going to be Chicago's next millionaire. He's working on sprouted greens now. He's a brilliant little child. You know, 17 years old. He's in college now. But brilliant kid. I talk to him every once in a while. Josh.
Hey, I wanted to get back to McLean. McLean, the Damara Tantra says that copper is the third most preferred. Yeah, it's gold, silver, copper in terms of containers.
It also mentions earthen pots and clay, right?
You're setting a trend, McLean. God bless you.
God from all of you. I want to ask one more question. I'd like to hear what you have to say about sediment.
Sediment? Here's what. Are you familiar with Dr. The guy in Texas that the FDA hauled in and tried to revoke his license for curing stage 4 cancer with urine? What's his name, Sage?
It wasn't Dr. Group. No, it was another doctor. Was it? Can't think of him right now, but keep going.
Brzezinski?
You all probably know who I'm talking about.
I think it was Brzezinski.
Brzezinski?
Brzezinski, that's the guy, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now, he was charging $100,000, and what he did was he took the urine, he put it in a centrifuge, and took, which you see settle in the bottom of a clear, the bottle that I saved my 12-year-old urine in. It has the sediment in the bottom. It's sort of a light tan, brown-looking sediment. Okay, and when I would use some from the bottle, I would always shake it to get the sediment back in the to anneal it to the rest of the urine in the bottle. But Brzezinski was centrifuging the urine, taking the solids out, mixing them with the saline, and then IVing them back into his stage 4 cancer patients and curing them basically overnight, from what I understood.
So with you're saying with sediment and salt was curing 4th stage cancer's patients?
Yes.
Wow.
And he's gone on to some other stuff now. You know, his treatments were very, very expensive. It was like $100,000 to knock out your kid, but versus $1 million, with chemo and radiation. But he's now doing a little different thing with peptides. I think he's doing the same thing, but he's only charging $30,000. But I think you have to get 3 treatments, so that's pretty close to $100,000. So he's still going to the bank every day. And he's not that. My patients here in Los Angeles. Well, we were in Los Angeles, in Texas now, but they went to visit him, and he was. My patients had done a lot of deep diving on urine and different things like that. So they went over there. They were very disappointed with his treatment over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, heads up, FYI on Brzezinski. He's a money man, and of course the FDA came after him. He spent, I think, over $1 million defending himself. They bankrupted me. I went through $1 million in 10 years in court in Chicago, and jail and probation, but I finally beat him. I'm all over the internet, like Carter's little liver pills. You go to Doc Mike Witort. It's not doctor. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm a doctor of preventive medicine. I'm a functional doctor, but I'm not an MD. Okay, I'm a PMD, a doctor of preventive medicine.
Cool. Hey, Matt, do you have any questions for Doc Mike?
Hey, nice to be here. I noticed something, just 2 comments. I noticed something with my copper vessel, my Urine. It seems to be turning the Urine blue as opposed to the Urine is mixing with the surface of the copper, creating a blue substance on the surface of the copper, and then that gets deposited into the urine. It seems to me that it's turning the urine blue. But I have some more observation to do on that. But that's my thought on that for now.
You're becoming Krishna. You're becoming Krishna.
That's you read my mind. That's the next thing I wanted to say. I would say Rama, but it's cool. And then on sediment,
that's an interesting thing you say there, because there's a fellow, the Magnesium Man, Morley Robbins. I think he's in North Carolina now. He's kind of bouncing around in Chicago. I met with him personally years ago, and he works with iron, magnesium, and copper, and they are extremely valuable essential metals in the body, especially the magnesium, which is involved in like 325 cellular transactions.
What form, Mike? What form of these minerals did they use?
Well, the magnesium would be your vitamin Bs, all your leafy greens. The iron, I hear people about using iron shavings and so on, but there's many vegetables and fruits that contain iron, and I've done deep dives on all of them, and I used to get the old Indian head pennies and put them under my tongue, so they were almost pure copper. And then they had the Lincoln pennies up to 1943 or something like that. Then they went to a clad. There was no copper in the pennies anymore. So that's you've got go ahead. Doc Mike's ready for I'll field any question you have.
Yeah, I just had to let somebody in a door here. Are you saying that the blue could have something to do with the magnesium?
Did you say glue?
Blue.
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 Oh, the blue.
No.
Oh, in the copper pot? Is that it?
No? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be turning the Urine blue. Would that have to do with magnesium?
I haven't done any research on that, but I know that if you take copper, that it'll turn green after a while, and if there's and if you mix green and yellow paint, you get blue paint, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. So you got the copper, which is sort of the urine, which is yellow, and the copper, which once copper oxidizes, it turns green. So you'd have to get some type of metallurgist PhD to put all this together, and you'll probably get somebody in the Shivambu hut that has that knowledge. You know, I've got a lot of knowledge in sports, and you know, I've got champions in every sport with the oxygen work that I do, and I know from the research in Scripps at Southern California in 2002, they threw out everything they knew about the immune system when they found out that intruders or antigens or antagonists that come into the body form ozone. And that's a link on my website, wakeupwell.org. Make sure it's ORG.
I posted that, Doc Mike, and we got a question from Daniel. Daniel, unmute
Go ahead,
yourself.
Daniel. Oh, okay. Oh, he's
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if this wakeupwell.org was your website, and obviously it is.
You broke up a little bit. Was it?
Yeah.
Wakeupwell.org. He's just confirming the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wakeupwell.org. I've had over 6 million hits on my website in the last 20 years. And most of them have been in the last couple of years.
So can you see why we love Doc Mike, and we're so honored to have him on our Shivambu organization?
Well, I love you guys. Believe me, I've been waiting 20 years. And I knew when I started 20 years ago, 1990, well, it's been a little over 20 years now, but I knew in 1998 when I started, it was going to take a generation to pop. And it was almost to the day in 2018 when I started really rolling. I had been out of court for 6 years. I got my freedom in 2012, and I still had some room to run. But in 2018, which was almost 20 years to the day, some really nice things started happening. And it takes a generation. Let's face it. You know, when I started, people said, Doc, you're way ahead of your time. I was using vibration therapy. I was using tuning forks. I was using percussion and lifestyle changes and stress reduction. The stress reduction work that I did turned into the Nobel Prize in 2017 of EFT, emotional freedom technique of tapping. In 2019, my oxygen work that I had been doing for 20 years was awarded as a Nobel Prize. And believe it or not, the 2022 Nobel Prize, and I've been knocking out fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, and things like that, all these very painful syndromes with oxygen therapies and massage and vibration therapy. I've been doing that for 20 years. The 2022 Nobel Prize, you can look it up right now, is about pain relief with chili peppers, believe it or not. They know that cayenne increases the oxygen in the body, and that the way I was relieving a lot of pain was restoring oxygen levels and ozone levels. And that's $3 million that Doc Mike kissed off since 2017.
Hey, Doc Mike.
Look him up.
Doc Mike, are you going to republish your book, or at least put it on a PDF so people can get access to it?
You're talking about sudden cures they don't want you to know about?
Yeah, I got my one and only copy from you, but I don't know if you're like keeping it from the world or if you're ready to bring that out.
You know who just read it the other day and was fascinated by it? Says he can't wait till he gets sick, but he knows he's never going to get sick after he read the book, was your little boy Josh here in Chicago, that next millionaire. So, you know, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources to put this anywhere. So I'm leaving it up to you. If you want to do something with it, and you know, if you want to give me 5% of it, go for it. I don't have time for that. I've got patients all over the world. I had, 45 million listeners a week, twice a week, when I was doing my radio show that I had to stop in 2014 when I ran out of money.
Tell people what radio show you're on out in California.
Well, Ben Maller.
Ben Maller.
Yeah, Ben Maller, Fox Sports Network. He's on Fox Sports Fox Sports, I guess, .com or foxsportsnetwork.com from 1 o'clock Chicago time, 1 o'clock, midnight, from 11 to 3 in California, and from 5 until 6 in New York. And he has affiliates all over the nation also, in Minnesota. And they kicked him out of Chicago after I was on for 6 months with him. They didn't want to hear about steroids, and it's all sports.
So did he archive all your shows?
Yes, and his podcast too. I just did a podcast a few weeks ago as I was traveling from Chicago to Los Angeles by car, and I stopped in, I think it was in New Mexico, and did a podcast with him. So.
All right. Well, any other questions for Doc Mike?
This is a Doc Mike conference call today. Take it.
Hey, I'd love to say that Tukche, the plasma goddess, has a cool theory that the sediment starts out as stem cells, which turn into white blood cells, which then, as we see Darlene show under the microscope, those white blood cells attach onto a toxin and then turn into the crystalline sediment. And then to continue that line of thought, I would say that if we see benefit from injecting this sediment into the vein, since the sediment is formed from the white blood cell attaching to a toxin, we could have a toxin-based homeopathic remedy going on. So it makes sense that it could be a stem cell to a white blood cell to a homeopathic remedy, that line.
Absolutely. As it goes through the kidneys, probably above 95%, probably close to 99% of the blood that goes through the kidneys keeps right on moving. Because you move, I've done a lot of research on blood and all these different things you're talking about. And you, as an adult, we move anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 gallons of blood through our liver, heart, and kidneys and the arterial system and the venous system every day. But we only produce about 2 quarts of urine. Probably at the most. If you're drinking a lot of liquids, you maybe do some more. But if you start at like 7 o'clock in the morning and you collect your urine, every drop of it, and then measure it at the end of a day, from what I understand, it's going to be about 2 quarts, while 2,000 gallons go circulating through the body on a daily basis. So that means 99% of it hits the kidneys. It goes to the computer in the brain and says, do I need any of these substances that are in the blood? Yes. Keep right on moving. Oh, here's one. I have too much vitamin C in my body. Or vitamin A. I ate 11 carrots. So some of that vitamin A is going to go into the urine. If you have a lot of bananas, some of the potassium is going to go in your urine. And Sage, if it's possible,
yes,
could you post that urine essay that I sent you? It's about 6 or 7 pages, and it talks about the compounds that the pharmaceutical companies found in 1975.
Yep, I just gotta find it.
Pardon?
I just have to find it.
Okay. If you can't, I have copies of it. I'll be happy to mail it to you, and you can do whatever you do, scan it or something, and put it up for every one of our new members. I know you're very close to almost 500 members now. You showed me how to get the members count, and I've been doing that every day.
Yeah, just send it to me. Send it to me, and I can distribute it.
Okay. Now, when I make a comment, this is just maybe for Chris, our computer whiz over there. When I make a comment, does that go to every member and their email?
You actually have so you're talking comments.
The Bamboo Hut.
Yeah, I believe so. I can check on that and let you know to be sure. When you make a post, you have a choice. You can send it to the whole group, or you can send it to a specific, kind of topic. But comments, I believe the comments are available to everybody. Yeah.
Okay, because you know me, I'm brain dead when it comes to computers, but I've been communicating with Misty. You've probably seen those comments or replies.
Yeah, she's a member.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just wondered if I mean I just hope that this aged urine goes totally viral to everybody, the new members and the members that are out there. I mean, this is a miracle that we can do something with this aged urine. It is so valuable.
And when you and Doc
themselves and so on. I think
Doc,
that's
Mike,
right.
question.
Mike, when you say aged urine, do you mean both topically and internally?
Yes, I'm convinced that internally has no adverse reactions.
Okay.
So speaking of
As it
aged
goes
urine,
through its stage from from somewhat slightly acidic maybe to 14 pH. Anywhere along the line, it's going to be advantageous, internally or externally.
so I have a question about the movement, since that's how I thought this conference is going to happen. Our buddy Harry Mattatine sends his love to everybody. He couldn't make it today, but he's building a UK urine therapy meeting association out there in UK. So if somebody follow his lead, follow what we did here in Boulder, and let's start creating more outreach program and more local support for everybody off the internet.
Well, I introduce every one of my new patients to urine therapy. Some of them get it, some of them don't. Who's next? That's the way I look at it,
Yep.
So, but many of them have. I'll tell you right now, they've said if Doc Mike's doing it, and they've seen my health picture, I'll match my urine, my bowel, my saliva, my earwax, my what else we got?
Semen?
Toenail scrapings. I guess most Olympic athletes would probably beat them.
Megan, throw your question out.
Yeah, no, I just along the line of really sharing the aged urine with people. 9 months ago, I joined Yoga Healer community, which Kate Stillman, it's her community, and I started talking about urine. And this community of hundreds of people who are current members, but thousands of people who've been members of that community over the last 20 years, they're now all jumping on board urine therapy and specifically the aged urine. And I am busier than I could ever have imagined with just the questions that come at me every single week. And just the openness, the open minds that exist in this community of people is blowing me away, and their generosity and their willingness to talk. And every week they're telling me that they told people and that they're feeling stronger in themselves, and they're understanding that because they're drinking their urine, they're putting more of themselves in. So they're feeling stronger in themselves and centered. And then they feel that they can speak with authority to this. And these are people who heard about this at most 8 months ago. Some of them only 1 or 2 months ago. So I just, in terms of you saying you can feel it, you knew 20 years ago it was going to go somewhere. And I'm just seeing it week after week, more interest. And the people in Yoga Healer are all over the world. I had someone contact me from Australia last week because they saw me talking about urine therapy because of this community. So it's just, thank you for answering all these questions and for putting in your time. And I just wanted to say, from my experience, it's absolutely happening in my world as well.
I'd like to talk to you personally. If you have a pencil there, I'd like to give you my phone number and you can call me. And I'm a dinosaur, I don't do computers very much. I know how to do Google and email, but
Doc Mike, let's have your phone number.
I love the telephone. I like to talk to people personally. So I'd like to give you my phone number. What is your name? Darlene? Did you say?
That's Megan.
No, this is Megan McDonald.
Okay. If you have a pencil there, I'll give you my phone number. And it's for anybody that's on the air right now too. Okay. It's 630-613-8537. I'll repeat it. 630-613-8537. I'm available 7/24, 365. This is my life. This is my passion. getting people well. It almost brings tears to my eyes because what you people are doing, it's fantastic.
That's why we love you.
Thank you so much.
I will be calling Mike Doc after this this session. So please, I want to talk to Dr. Mike. Okay?
That's fine.
You want to talk to him now or after the conference?
No, afterwards. I have to update about VJ.
Yeah. I've been on the this is my first cell phone, by the way. 20 years ago, I did research on cell phones, found out how dangerous they were, and I refused to get one. But now I'm on the road. I've got a clinic in Ecuador. I've been going there for 10 years, helping those people get off of sugars and drugs, and they are very, very into urine therapy over there. The women use it on their face and their hair. Their hair is jet black into their 80s because of the copper that's in the soil over there from the volcanoes and South America. And their fruits and vegetables have no chemicals. And they're very, very healthy. Unfortunately, most of them work themselves to death or get sugar poisoned because their most profitable export is cane sugar. So I'm working on that. I've got a lot of them off of sugars over there, help them get healthy. But it's so rewarding. It gives me so much joy to see children, especially, that make changes. If I had this knowledge when I was 10, 12, 15, into my 20s, it would have been a whole different story. But I had to, you have to go through certain things in life to get where you are. Go ahead.
Yadira, got another question for Doc Mike?
Well, I will be calling him after this show, so please pick up the phone. Thank you.
I have no problem with that. Every time it rings, I just say, "There's another person that wants to get healthy or has some issue and wants to get rid of it."
Thank you.
So Megan, I'm being blasted with clients every day. I'm doing consultations every day. I've got 3 trainings going on almost every week now. And because of the collaborations that I've formed association with Dr. Group, Troy Casey, the certified health nut in Sedona, has been sending me clients. And so we're all intersecting because of this water. So keep your sleeves rolled up. There's more work to do. It's going to keep coming your way. And Darlene knows that.
Yeah. Okay.
Megan knows how busy I've been in the last, couple of months. It's just been insane. Like it just went poof and exploded with the amount of interest. So I'm so happy for everyone.
So I want you to meet Melissa Rafael. She's known as Raw Organic Girl out there in California. She just joined us, and she's been an angel behind the scenes doing graphic design for my classes and promos. And if she'll take her audio off, Melissa.
Hello.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the conference call.
Hello. Oh, sorry, there's something going on with my computer. Okay. Hello. How is everyone?
Hi there.
Good. Can you share your video?
Oh, I'll share it in a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm currently doing something.
Okay.
No problem. Melissa, we've had the honor of having Doc Mike as our guest speaker today. So if you'd like to
Wow.
introduce yourself to Doc Mike, he'll know who you are.
Oh, I'm Melissa. My Instagram handle is Raw Organic Girl. I help Brother Sage with all the some graphic design work, and happy to be here.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I've probably seen your picture. Are you a member of Shivambu Hut, Melissa?
Yes, I am a member.
Okay, I've probably seen your picture or your icon because I followed every new member and get from time to time I'm on computer and I welcome them as directors of Shivambu Hut. So I probably come across you and I'm probably following you because I've checked my following number. It's close to 500 now. I try to follow every one of the new members.
Doc Mike is one of the hardest working Shivambu teachers that I know of on the planet. And that God bless him, he's been stepping up being the urine answer man, the piss answer man on the Shivambu hut. So when I'm unavailable because I'm up doing what I do, he's there, taking the questions and helping people out. So if you ever get a chance, you got his phone number now. It's on the chat line, Melissa, if you want to.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I'll copy it.
As well as his website, wakeupwell.org.
And don't hesitate to call me personally, Melissa, if you want to get something right away, because I have, from time to time, I have computer access, but I don't, I'm a dinosaur. I don't have a computer. This is my first cell phone, and I'm 77 years old, a Vietnam vet. So make use of my last 25 to 50 years on the planet.
Oh, thank you. And I'm here also to help anyone that needs a graphic design.
We just came out of, if you know where Montrose, California is, north of Los Angeles.
I've never heard of Montrose.
Okay, we just, this family that I'm working with just moved to just north of Dallas, a little town called Bonham. And I'm going to be here for another couple of months. And just so enjoy talking to urine therapy aficionados and informing them and bringing them up to speed. Because I've been doing it, it saved my life in 1965 when I drank it in the Navy and boot camp, went on 10 drugs, and I wound up with antibodies to all those drugs and survived.
Oh, wow.
And
That's amazing.
it was a real wild ride, for 8 days. I was in boot camp for 8 days, and it was in the hospital, the Navy hospital, for 6 months. And then in a what they call a clinical depression for 18 months. And then I recovered, and they thought, this guy's crazy. He thinks there's a cure for cancer. He somehow survived all these drugs. We're going to put him on another drug for the rest of his life because he's crazy. And I was on that drug for 36 years and then got off of that and whipsawed into the medical community with my own clinic and started curing all kinds of things that I just figured were big scams, money-making scams, the 10,000 diseases and conditions they have out there. Wound up in jail and in court for 10 years, bankrupt. But I'm back, Jack, with a brand new Cadillac.
So does anybody else have any questions for Doc Mike? Oriander, do you have anything?
Rosario, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. So I'm quite new to Shivambu and Urine, but I'm quite happy with the journey so far. Thanks to Brother Sage for inviting me to obviously his course and to the whole concept of natural cure, natural health with our own body and our own rivers of health and light, Urine. So I think it's amazing because one of the questions I had has already been answered, which is, if someone sees a streak of redness in their urine. So thank you very much for that. I think the only thing that I was trying to follow, and I'm sorry that I came in the middle, but I couldn't get my Zoom to work, is that if our body is excreting toxins, I'm still trying to get my head around the concept that, it's not coming through the urine, it's not coming through urine. So it's obviously being excreted, through other means, either skin, and etc. So I just need a bit more, I think a bit more information on that. If someone asks me straight up, I know that the urine has all these healing benefits, all these healing factors that is endless and keeps going on, but it's just to cut through that concept that is not a waste. And I'm simplifying it. So if someone comes, so just to have a bit more substance in my answer to that when I'm across it.
All right. Rosario, we just lost Doc Mike. He's kind of new on cell phones, so we'll try to get him back. But I'd like to throw the question over to Darlene. If she'd like to put some information to share with you.
Yeah, it's a combination of waste, but with all these nutrients in it. And like we talked about before with the sediment. So if there's any waste that's not good for you, the white blood cell is going to go and seek it out and encapsulate those toxins in it. In that encapsulation, you're no longer going to be exposed to any toxins, but also there's a homeopathic element to it too, so that like cures like. So when you're reintroducing it into the body knows this is wrong. So then it kind of sends out all its guys to help fight that.
I see. So there's a kind of, thank you. So there's a kind of a selection of what is going to be used for good health and what is not going to be used because, it's no good.
Right. So it kind of cleans itself up, if you're going to age it. And even if you're reintroducing it right away, it's homeopathic and it's telling your body what it needs to focus on and where it needs to go and what needs to be healed.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you very much.
All right.
You're
Here's a question. Would you introduce aged urine as people's first introduction and first drink? Or would you start them off with fresh urine and then step them up to aged urine? Which approach would you guys use?
It all depends on the person.
Also,
people-
it depends upon what that condition that you are trying to treat.
Yeah.
True.
This is going to be case by case.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I would start with fresh urine because that's how I started, and it was like, oh, this is amazing. It's not how, because people have this idea that it's going to have this, specific kind of taste or smell, and actually, it belongs to your body. And my experience was that it was great. So from the first time, I think that probably is better than if it's aged, and people might probably start, trying to see if it smells good or tastes good every day. But I think from the from the beginning, it's a good way to just make that connection. I think it's very special, but it's subjective anyway.
Here's a question for Darlene.
Yeah. Well, wait, I'll answer that question.
Go ahead.
Definitely fresh urine. I mean, it's still, for me, I know most people are on the bandwagon that aged urine internally is good, but I'm still I still hold that in question. That the Mara Tantra says says do not ingest aged urine, and I've checked that out personally, and I keep coming to the I use the I Ching to help guide, and I keep, when I asked it, and I'll ask again, but when I ask it, I get basically a no about aged urine internally. So to be suggesting something that's questionable as a starting point just sounds a little presumptuous.
Can I respond to that?
Mhm.
Now, itching that you are doing
Mhm.
is coming from you.
Sure.
So what answer you need is your own inquiry.
Sure.
And that's where I think there is maybe some research needed, or how to really tackle this with that knowledge that is coming from within for you.
Right. But just to be clear, it's not just the I Ching. If the Mara Tantra, the most ancient text that we have available regarding urine didn't say, that aged urine should only be used topically, then it wouldn't even be an issue. That's so it's not just it's not just that I'm getting this guidance personally. It's that there is tradition, and I'm one of the biggest innovators that I know, but I also respect tradition. So that's, I'm not trying to
You're weighing
control
it out.
anybody. I'm just
You're weighing it out.
creating what I believe is a reasonable approach, and just so everybody knows, like we're a group of people, and if we all jump on a bandwagon, everybody who comes in contact with us will go along with that. But to be responsible, I feel like we have to, put out all the information, All the information has to be on the table so people can make, a good informed decision.
Yeah, and thank you for
Great idea.
being able to present both sides of it, because we're doing our best to give everybody all the different sides of it without becoming dogmatic, without having set rules, because like what I've been teaching all these years is it's an intuitive medicine. So you can take the best of the tradition and then weigh it in with yourself and come up with an answer and a direction. But Mike, you still there?
Yeah, I'm back. I lost charge here, and I'm right near a cell tower, so I've probably got 5 bars.
All right. This is from
Hey,
Melissa.
hey, everybody! Before we continue, I got to leave. I got another meeting I got to go to. But it was great to be with you all today. Thanks for everybody's input. And Mike, it's great to hear your voice again.
Thank you so much, Chris. Keep up the good work, pal.
All right, same to you.
Okay, good day.
Good day. Bye. Stay, Mike. Melissa, can you unmute yourself? She's got a couple
Yes,
of.
sorry,
Yeah,
I have dogs barking in the background. But my question is, how can someone cure their swollen lymph nodes with UT? I have a friend that has this issue. The lymph nodes formed near both jaw and neck area, so he's suffering a lot right now. He had his appendix operated back in 2009 after severe constipation from tuberculosis medicine.
Yeah. Okay, so are you talking about the lymph nodes in the neck or in the? There's 3 major concentrations. Where you broke up a little bit, but did you say the neck?
He has them. He has the lymph nodes formed near both the jaw and neck area.
Yes. Okay. All they have to do there is a gentle massage of the lymph nodes there to get them reactivated. No deep work. There's a real easy technique of just putting your middle finger at the earlobe, and then placing the little finger would be like on the cheek, and then and the ring finger is right next to it, and the index finger is on sort of the side of the neck, and the thumb is on the side of the neck, and then gently raking down, straight down, till all the fingers hit the collarbone on either side. If you take a look at a complex of the 3 zones for major lymphatics, they are in the neck to protect us against things we eat and breathe, in the armpits to protect mother's milk, and in the groin right off the hip bones. And between the hip bone and the pubic bone, there's a very large concentration there of lymph nodes to protect our reproductive system. So the main one, after we start maturing and get 2 brain cells in a row, is what we eat and the air that we breathe. Okay, so that's our initial gatekeeper, and it's not surprising that these might be swollen, but this gentle stroking from the earlobe through the neck, and when you get down to the collarbone, that's where the subclavian artery is, that's feeding the lymphatic fluid back to the heart. You just go right back up again and just gently rake down on both sides, and that will refresh those lymph nodes. And if you go to Google, maybe in Google lymphatics of the neck images, you'll see the major concentration of lymph nodes in that zone, and probably the ones in the armpits and the groin also. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for all the information. I'll pass it on to my friend. He's suffering, so all this information is really helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Anything else, Sage?
Well, anybody else have a question for Doc Mike while we got him here? Because he's a gypsy. He might be traveling again.
I do have one more question. Have you had any patients with cataracts or any eye issues that have used aged urine?
Yes. There's other techniques that we've used also, but with urine, I've been putting urine in my eyes for years. But I also take a golf ball and gently roll it on the eyelid. This is what you work with, what's called accommodation reflex, where it's basically aerobics for the eye. When you look at something in the distance, there's a couple of tendons, one above and one below the eye, that activate and flatten the eyeball so that the optics can focus on something in the distance. Many people, because of the computer age, they're looking at something close to them, their cell phone, the computer, the blue light, reading, so on. Students don't look at mountaintops very often, okay? And what happens is these tendons are affected by this relaxation of the eye when you're looking at something close up. And this little technique of taking a golf ball, it's a perfect size for what they call the orbit of the eye, and you gently roll it, cup it in your hand and roll it. It flattens the eyeball a little bit, and then comes back. And that's a technique to avoid cataracts. I'm 77 years old, and I've been, since I quit smoking some 30 years ago, which is very, very toxic, the carbon monoxide that is in cigarette smoke. I was I was a bank vice president years ago. I had a real high stress job, and I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And I was on sugars, and there was nutritional suicide. And I look back, I'm lucky I'm still alive. So, but I quit smoking, and in my 50s and 60s, I could hit a silver dollar at 100 yards without a rifle scope on my deer rifle.
Yeah.
And I think my mother was blessed with, this might be a genetic thing. My mother's eyes were very, very good all her life. And actually, I started wearing magnifying glasses in my 40s. And into my late 40s, when I quit smoking, I noticed that this sort of Vaseline that was on a lot of things, I needed glasses because I couldn't read fine print. And I've been reading, I'm 77 now, I'm reading finer and finer print every year with these different techniques. And I know that urine therapy in the eye is very good too. The prevention of these issues is much easier than trying to cure them, because the medical system out there is ready with all kinds of surgery, LASIK. Tiger Woods has had LASIK surgery. And I can still see a golf ball at 250 yards.
Wow. That's amazing.
Eyes are very important. I mean, they are your number one defense in your whole body. If you can't see something coming at you, you're going to get run over. So protecting the eyes is a very, very critical issue in my wellness program.
Darlene? Darlene, did you want to make a comment?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add in that low oxygen levels in the body tend to lead to cataracts too. So there's oxygen in urine, but also breathing properly can also help. Even though people don't associate the breath with the eyes, it's very connected.
Well, another thing, and I experienced this with my sister. She's been on synthroids drugs for stress unnecessarily for almost or maybe over 30 years. And she's had both of her eyes operated on for cataracts. And she couldn't believe that steroids have something to do with calcium. We know that every steroid, I don't care if it's topical, injected, inhaled, or taken orally, every steroid, no matter what it is a calcium depleter in the system. So within the last year, I didn't find out about her cataract operations till after her second one. Okay, she told me about this. And I went immediately to the internet and looked up the effects of steroids on eyes. And the number one first thing in the statement was cataracts from steroids. And I sent her the information. Unfortunately, her doctor told her that if she gets off of the Synthroid, she may have some adverse reactions. I said, what, like getting well? You know, these goofballs have put her on this stuff for years unnecessarily. She had a lot of stress. She was driving 2.5 miles every day, or 2.5 hours, I'm sorry, 2.5 hours every day to her job for over 20 years. And it was very stressful. And her immune system started shutting down. We know about that. You know, chronic stress shuts down the immune system. That's Bruce Lipton's work, Biology of Belief, and Robert Sapolsky's work, why zebras don't get ulcers. Immaculate research on stress. And I tried to help her with it, but her doctor trumped me, and she's still on this junk. She won't get off it. She tried to get off it for a while, but she got back on it. And now she's had the cataract surgery on both eyes. So I know urine and these eye exercises and a good diet. Oxygen is number one. Cellular oxygen is there's a term for it called oxidative stress, is the number one cause of all of your autoimmune syndromes, whether it's fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, multiple sclerosis, lupus. As the oxygen levels come back up with either hyperbaric chamber or just antioxidant foods, your berries, a lot of leafy greens, things like that improve your oxygen levels, exercise, a relationship,
Laughter.
nitric oxide.
Laughter. A good belly laugh.
Endorphins, yes.
And
all
hugs.
increase the oxygen levels.
And hugs.
And what?
Hugs. I got 8 hugs yesterday. I'm full.
Right. Yeah, it's very important. Excellent question. Thank you so much.
So before we go, I know you guys might have some more questions. I just wanted to name off some of the superstars in our water family world. Some of them are here on the screen right now. And so I'm just going to name them really quick. And yeah, Indira, you're on the list. Samuel G. Cohen, Harry Matadine, Lee Sampson, Rosalind Hanson, Anthony A.K. King, Sandy Rogers, Dr. Group, Dr. Radshak Mal Loda, Tal Schaller out in France, Stephen Williams, Monica Schuett. She's trying to get together with me so we can actually do a interview, me and Monica. Tuche Zagalo, Nick Caputo, Mike Perry, Fabian Farquharian, Pixie Rose, Darlene Tehan, Matt Senna, Dr. David Jubb, who hasn't ate anything in 10 years, if you didn't know that. Stampana Osentosi, Andrew Norton Weber, Allegedly Dave, Manjeshri Abhinav, Doc Mike Witort, Dr. Barani, J.P. Spears, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, Leonard Orr, Troy Casey, Rodney Levoirier, Ruby Caro, Martin Laura, Cohen Vanderkroon, John Turmel out in Canada, Jason Shurka, Wiley Schmidt, Joseph Rogers, who lost both his legs, you know who we're talking about, David Phillips, Kiana, who's building quite an organization out there in Oahu, Gerald and Alan Guevara, Sarah Smiled, and Raw Organic Girl.
That's all 500 members. God bless you all.
These are the ones that are putting out a lot of content. They've got great following, and I'm just thrilled to see them keep putting that content up there almost every day. And
absolutely.
I can't even keep
up. It was worth the challenge, the 20 years that I battled this system to get where I am. And a lot of people said, Doc, you're 20 years ahead of your time. Well, I didn't know that I had another 20 years to go. So,
yeah, but you paved the way, and we're grateful that you did.
Right. Great. Okay, I've got another phone call coming in here. So God bless you all, and hope to talk to you again sometime.
I will call you in few minutes. Mike Doc.
You lost him. Call him in a few minutes. Do you have his phone number?
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody else wants to contact Doc Mike, his phone number is in the chat feed, as well as his website, once again, is wakeupwell.org. I'm still teaching urine therapy the urine therapy training courses. I'm doing shameless promotion here at the end here. My new book is with the publisher. He's about to finish the PDF, and then we can go live. And hopefully this week I'll get copies of the Secrets of Youthing out to the world. Any last comments before we do our group hug and go?
Dr.
Shivambu Zindabad.
Zindabad. Long live Shivambu.
Brother Sage, could you just repeat what did you say about UK urine therapy meeting? Who is that with, or is it something?
Yes, Harry Matadine. Harry Matadine. You can reach him through Facebook, Instagram, Harry Matadine World,
Okay.
and he's got a Facebook group that's dedicated just to the UK organization.
Okay,
And it'd be
I look
nice
it up.
if you hooked up and joined him.
Great, thank you very much.
Matt, show us the hideaway one more time.
Well, to me, it's like, those incense things that they use in church services. When I'm walking around and it's just hanging from my arm, that's what it feels like, swinging it around.
If you have the top off, it's probably better than that copal and frankincense they're burning.
Yeah, like there's this is one top, and then there's another top with the a little spout, and then you'd be able to smell it. But this the water has an energetic resonance. You don't need to smell it for it to be permeating the ether. Mm.
Do you go to Catholic church?
No. I'm sort of just interested in many different traditions and pick out the practices. I like the practices.
Okay, because I suggested a few calls ago we should just sneak into the Catholic church and put that in the holy water bowl.
Just one drop would do it, man.
I would do it.
One drop will do it. All right, let's have a group hug. Everybody's going to take off for the day.
Hug.
Extra love to VJ.
Yes, thank you. Bye. I will call you in a minute.
All right, Indira. Anybody else needs to contact me, you know how to do it.
Extra love, Indira.
Yes, thank you very much.
Much love.
Much
Thank
love. Om Namah Shivaya. Off we go. Go carpet the heck out of your day.
Okay. Ciao.